Welcome to Slow News Day Live. My name is Steve Poikinen. I am here in beautiful Boulder Creek, California, where the flannel shirt is our state flag, the pit bull is our state bird, and cannabis is our state flower. You guys may have noticed that over the last couple of days, we've had story after story and pundit after pundit explain why this particular whistleblower, this unnamed whistleblower that has come forth with information about Donald Trump and his phone call with the Ukraine is vital to national importance, is something that we need to protect, is someone that as a whistleblower we should revere, and they can do all of this while ignoring the fact that Chelsea Manning is now at 197 or 98 days incarcerated and bordering on $90,000 in fines. They can do that while Jeremy Hammond was transferred from Oklahoma to the same jail Chelsea Manning currently sits right now. They can do that while Julian Assange languishes in Belmarsh prison, slowly being tortured to death for the crime of publishing crimes. They can do that while keeping a straight fucking face. I'm fucking floored by this. I really am. The hubris, the sheer unbridled hubris of these scumfucks to act like a purely partisan political effort to undermine Donald Trump is a valiant and valid effort to protect whistleblowers. I'm so fucking pissed I can't even get this out. That's how fucking insane this is. And I realize I've said fuck like 80 times in the first 2 minutes. So if harsh language offends you, whoops. We are now entering a phase of impeachment process, the impeachment of Donald Trump in the House. We're pretty well sure that Trump will be impeached by the House of Representatives. That will get kicked over to the Senate, where there's an investigation that will go exactly fucking nowhere. This is, again, political theater. There is nothing about this that is offering protections to whistleblowers. There's nothing about this that grants any kind of clemency to other whistleblowers. I hope I didn't break that. It sounded a little bit like glass. At any rate, I just saw in the chat, Brooke Hines, Trump will have a higher approval rating after this, just like WJC did, William Jefferson Clinton. I agree. Every time there's a purely partisan attack on Donald Trump, it backfires on the left. Trump's approval ratings go up. Whatever's been discussed in terms of Trump playing the victim card and the media is out to get me, and I've never known no president has ever been treated more unfairly or worse than me, ignoring the fact that we've had multiple presidents assassinated and a couple shot at. Trump plays that victim card, and it plays with his fucking base. Because it's true. Because a partisan effort to undermine one guy because he's taken the mask off of how corrupt and craven our government really is. You think for a fucking goddamn second Donald Trump having a conversation with the president of Ukraine about what they can do for each other is out of the ordinary? Of course not. We've got Biden on video saying that he was going to shut down aid if the fucking Ukrainian government didn't drop an investigation into his kid. His kid, by the way, got booted out of the Navy for coke and got pulled over with a fucking crack pipe on him a couple of years later. Hunter Biden is one of the more perfect examples of how a child of privilege falls up over and over and over and is rewarded for that. $50K a week? Or $50K a month or something to do nothing? Like, give me a sec. What will unite the progressives, Muscal? Impeachment? How so? I don't understand that. I really don't. Okay. 166K a month from the Ukrainian gas country. It's incredible to me that we have a populace so fucking wired in to doing what we're told or believing what we hear out of a media that 72% of us nationally, according to a recent survey, we don't trust that media. We know they're full of shit. We know they're full of lies. We know they have an agenda, and we know that agenda is to keep us complacent and stupid while they commit crime after crime after crime in the dark, which is why protecting real fucking whistleblowers is actually important. Now I'm not trying to like dismiss or delineate whatever may be in this claim against Trump. However, let's look at it a little bit. According to the reporting, this whistleblower went outside of the regular channels that he would go through, and tried to contact people around Trump, tried to contact people in the media to politicize this case as much as possible. MP, I think I just saw it in the chat. Moonwillow, impeachment is just another distraction like Russiagate. You're absolutely correct. Because the 2020 primary is being openly rigged in broad daylight, because the Democrats as an institution are center right to far right themselves, have no fucking plan moving forward other than we would like things to go back to how they were prior to January 20th, 2019, or prior to November 9th, 2017, prior to November 9th, 2016. We want things just like they were, but without Donald Trump. That means the same amount of income inequality. That means the same number of incarcerated Black and brown people for minor harmless offenses, if not more. That means a continued war on poverty. That means a continued war on the homeless. Not a war on homelessness, not a war on against people living rough, sleeping rough, but not having any place to stay, but a war on the homeless. We don't want these fucking people in our city. We need to get rid of them. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. It is the height of privilege for anyone to sit and say that a whistleblower who's going after a president for purely partisan reasons deserves more protection than Julian Assange, deserves more eyes on their case than Chelsea Manning or Jeremy Hammond. I'm pissed. I'm fucking pissed. Lots of progressives don't want Trump to be above the law. I know many progressives who are happy the impeachment is starting. In my view, the impeachment will unite the progressives. Muscal, I hope you are right. However, the way that this is going to play out is that impeachment is going to take a front seat to Medicare for all, to free college tuition, to wealth tax, people paying, everything that is in a quote unquote real progressives platform like Bernie Sanders. All of that is going to take a backseat to impeaching the bad orange man. And if the bad orange man goes away, that doesn't do a fucking thing for progressives if you replace that bad orange man with a fucking technocrat who believes that means-tested neoliberal bullshit is the right answer to get the country back on track. The only silver lining is this will take Biden down too. Brooke Hines, I agree with you on that. I do. There is no way that Trump goes through an impeachment proceeding without dragging as many people down with him as possible. We know who Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is a fucking spoiled trust fund kid who's going to rat as many people out as possible to save his own fucking bloated, wrinkly orange ass. We know that. So yeah, let's take Biden out in the process. I'm fine with that. Joe Biden's a scumfuck. He's a greasy fucking pedo with a fake face, fake teeth, and fake hair. Get rid of him. John R. Yes. Democratic Party free to rig the primary. Absolutely. 100%. That's what impeachment going into 2020 does. It takes everybody's eyes off what is happening during the primary. I believe right now Mario Cuomo is fucking over New York State primary voters. The last thing the people in power want is a progressive or left movement that has legs. So they're going to do everything they can to kneecap that. Now, there are a lot of, you guys know that I'm friends with a couple of folks who are die-hard Bernie supporters. In fact, one of them goes as far as to add the burner to his name. Which, by the way, y'all should read An Inconvenient Douche by Pat the Burner. I'm friends with these guys. Now, they know in their heart that we have a duopoly and a rigged system that does no one any good if they are out of that top 1%, top 10% loop. We know that. A couple of my friends that are heavily involved with supporting Bernie Sanders and even go as far as to volunteer on some level for the campaign, they know that too. They will admit, at least to me personally, if not publicly, that after the election, were Bernie Sanders to get through a primary unscathed and go on to defeat Donald Trump, that it would still take everyone out in the streets to get his agenda passed. I say, let's cut out the fucking middleman and get into the streets right now. Anthony Reyes, I think the Dems will fall on the sword for Biden. Ted Lieu already put his foot in his tapper saying what Hunter Biden did was not unethical. Yeah, no, I kind of saw that. I didn't watch the full clip. I read a little synopsis of it. Ted Lieu is the guy who accidentally let it out of the bag that the Democrats punted on Merrick Garland. I don't know, it's been a couple of years, but way back in 2016, Barack Obama had a chance to appoint a Supreme Court justice. He balked on that. He didn't follow through with it. The person that he put forth was Chuck fucking Grassley's number one choice, Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland, right-wing, pro-capitalist, pro-bank, pro-business, not the Supreme Court justice that any of us would want, but nevertheless, Barack Obama tried to do this, then realized or was talked to by someone from the Hillary campaign that they wanted to stay. The conclusion was they wanted to stack the Supreme Court for Hillary Clinton. Why she is more special than Barack Obama is fucking out of the scope of reality, but these are short-sighted, well-heeled, well-intimidated motherfuckers. So I can see eventually why they would punt on the guy. But Ted Lieu let it out of the bag. Ted Lieu in an interview said, in hindsight, we really shouldn't have punted the ball on Merrick Garland. Finally got a notification on your live. Thank you, Kat. That's great. I'm still. I know it's hit and miss, but this show is becoming effective based on how much I'm getting fucked with. For every like 1 or 2 people that YouTube counts as a subscriber to the show, I watch 15, 25, 30 people subscribe to the show. Then like an hour later, I see that maybe 2 have counted as new subscribers. The difference between what YouTube shows you that my view counts are versus what they are when you click on the actual video versus what they are when you go to the analytics section and click on that is tremendous. I've got almost a 450 view discrepancy on my last interview with Whitney Webb. People in the SND chat are knowledgeable. Love it. John R., thank you. And thank you for being part of the stream today. Welcome. How's it going? Good to see you. I will brag on my audience here for a minute. I do believe that I have one of the most informed audiences in YouTube land because nobody gets to me. Nobody comes to Slow News Day directly from MSNBC said some shit I didn't agree with. We are all on a path. And there are much further places you can go than this show. But to get here, the audience themselves has to realize that there are significant built-in by design flaws into the system, and they want to do something about it. This show promotes decentralized activism. This show promotes collective and general anarchism. By the time you get here, you're a smart motherfucker. Well done. Give yourselves a pat on the back. But MSNBC said it was Russia. Yeah, man. I went on Jason Bermas's show a couple of weeks ago to specifically give an update about Julian Assange, and man, Jason had me fucking rolling in my chair because he was doing that. They told me it was Russia. They told me it was Russia. Of course they told you it was Russia. It's fucking brilliant. It took me longer than it should have to get here. Fuck that, Anthony. The fucking wizard is never late or early. He arrives precisely when he means to, right? Roll with that. Can you please pin a post for a mailing address for donors? I stopped using devices for payments of anything. Yeah, I can do that, Kat. I can put that in the show notes right after this, or I can put it on my Twitter. I shake when people challenge me about Julian Assange. So I agree. I get pretty fucking fired up too. I just got to walk away recently from a night gig that I had, and I don't know if you guys know this or not. I spent about a year working at a fucking liquor store so I could pay the studio fees for Slow News Day when I do go into the studio. And it was brutal. It was soul crushing. It was fucking a garbage job. It was shit pay with shit people coming in all the time and treating me like I'm a retail employee, yet unburdening themselves on me. So I was, everyone's personal fucking psychiatrist, along with giver of advice and purveyor of vices. Pretty fucking weird dichotomy there. I just ditched that job, and I feel like a giant weight has been taken off of me. I'm some good student loan debt. I'm a Chico State grad. I got a couple of friends who moved up to Chico a while ago, so that Lucia could finish her degree. They have a little band that plays out every now and then called The Devil Makes Three. If you have not heard of those guys, please go look them up. Um, I kind of feel like after knowing them for 15 years that their music may be a little bit past their sell-by date for me personally, but if you're new to them, they are fucking wonderful. Saw you worked at Grog's in Santa Cruz at first when you mentioned a liquor store. My uncle would go there every day after work and give me shit about smoking weed every day. That's funny. No, you know what, man? I've been to the grog shop because, you know, Santa Cruz. But I've kind of made it a life mission to not work outside of the Santa Cruz Mountains, San Lorenzo Valley area. Uh, I I can connect with an international audience here. I will be speaking again with Gordon Dimmick on Sunday briefly. He's going to fill me in about the Julian Assange rally at Belmarsh. It's taking place Saturday. If you are in or around the San Francisco Bay Area and you have the ability to, at noon on Saturday, the 28th, there is a rally for Julian Assange at the British Consulate in San Francisco. I will be there. I am hoping to have a camera with me. I'm hoping to live stream, and I'm also hoping to coordinate with the people from Bay Area Assange who are throwing the event. Saturday, September 28th. And if you're scattered across the country, you can always go to the Courage Foundation or Unity for Jay or Action for Assange and get a complete list of events that are taking place this Saturday in support of Julian Assange and Chelsea Manning and other whistleblowers. So yes, if you're not doing anything, if you're a California local, if you're anywhere near San Francisco, please turn up for this British Consulate Saturday. We'll have a good time for a shitty cause. Guy signed up for school and took Julian's advice in his last video. He said that we need to be trained in tech to have a chance in the future. You are absolutely right. I am 41 years old and am probably not going to learn more tech than what it needs to get my goddamn show out. However, I have made it a point to reach out to people who are tech savvy, who are in the security and privacy game. And I have leaned on them heavily for advice, and they have been graciously willing to provide that to me. I try to share that with you guys as often as possible. I have had Sean O'Brien from the Yale Privacy Lab, who conducts seminars for activists on how to best secure their devices and be as safe as possible in this information and digital age. He's been on the show. He's going to be on two upcoming two upcoming Free Assange vigils. I found him from Unity for Jay. But Sean O'Brien will be on the Free Assange vigils towards the end of October. He's got a box that he has built and is trying to build more of that acts as an anti-cloud storage device. It eliminates the need for you to store your data where it can be 100% easily accessible by law enforcement. It's something definitely to look into. And I hope that you guys will take advantage of his expertise and his wisdom. Anthony Reyes, you know what's crazy, Steve? I was talking to my cousin about how Snapchat is a government-owned app, and he was looking at all his friends in Snapchat. It can track where all his friends are in real time. Yes, dude. What fucking company survives for years and years and years and years and years without ever posting a single fucking quarter of profit? Hey, we're going to give you all kinds of different ways that you can make your face look different. We're going to digitally map every part of your face, and then we're going to put disguises on you. What the fuck do you think that's about? How is that not a surveillance program masked as a fun little toy for the kids to play with? Hopefully your cousin's mind was fucking blown by that, Anthony, and he took a little bit of a look into what Snapchat was all about. I hate when you upload a photo to Facebook, you see the facial recognition go to work. They even want you to, I know, man. So Facebook just fucked up. Facebook had to announce or tried this tactic in court where they say are now a publisher. Do we get to sue Facebook for 12 years of unpaid content? Do we get to sue Facebook for allowing them to be a publishing entity that we produce content for? We help build the success of this site. I have published WikiLeaks files on Facebook. That was the first time I got a ban on Facebook. I only do it in private groups now as part of a document drop. Not that that does any fucking good for Facebook, but because they're going to read that and they're going to target me anyway. They're going to shadow ban my account. They're going to make it so if I ever decide to pay them money to advertise my show on their platform, nobody will fucking see it. I don't know if you guys caught it the other day, a week or so ago. Jimmy Dore did a live stream where he had just found out that advertising through Facebook now has an algorithm that will decidedly not show your content to people who would be apt to like your content. It's fucking crazy. Just have published on Facebook and make them accomplices. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. I do. You guys, you got to understand how much I fucking love and appreciate you. Please, like, don't ever let me go a day without thanking you, because if you guys aren't here watching, I'm just some fucking idiot yelling into a camera. Not living in the U.S. anymore, wondering what it would take to get people in the streets. If you had said revolution is not going to happen at the ballot box, no, it's not. John, when this show first started, my friend Sarah Hall was co-hosting with me, and somewhere about March, it got a little bit too deep for her, and she was starting to see the real-time ramifications of what happens when you speak truth to power, and so she decided to back off. But her mom, to this day, Sarah's mom says nobody in this country is going to get out and get into the streets until they lose their couch. Now, we are teetering on the edge of another major financial collapse. We are doing that while kangaroo impeachment proceedings are taking place. We are doing that during a rigged presidential election, and we are doing that while the slow motion death of Julian Assange is taking place. Now, if the combination of those events, if the combination of a financial collapse, a rigged election, and a complete and structural dismantling of how we deal with climate refugees, what we do about criminal justice, what we do about whistleblowers, what we do about protests, if that comes to a head, I believe at that point we will start to see something more akin to, at least at first, the yellow vest style protests that have been taking place in France. It amazes me that we are almost a full year into these yellow vest protests, and we still have no coverage here in the States. Which is how I can tell that it's mostly an organic movement that hasn't been corrupted. If it had been infiltrated and corrupted to shit, we would see yellow vest protests on TV every single weekend. We would be treating them like we are the Hong Kong protests. There would be Frenchmen out in the middle of the streets waving American flags for some inexplicable fucking reason, like they're doing in Hong Kong. Quinn, I'm worried I'll be targeted for my politics. I'm worried I will lose jobs, housing, and chances at anything like government grant, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, that's true. There's it's a fucking, it's a risk, Quinn. It's a risk. It definitely is. I'm fortunate enough to where the job that I currently have during the day now, the job that I had during the day prior to that, are through companies that when I am working, we have a whopping 2 employees. So I'm bypassing. I'm really bypassing the application process. I'm bypassing putting my name out there on anything. I'm bypassing having my name put on somebody's payroll. I got a little bit lucky. I lucked out. I have a skill set that that allows me to avoid a lot of the trappings that you just mentioned there, Quinn. Anthony Reyes, even Jimmy has given up about talking about Assange. Is constant on it. That's why he's the best. Oh, thank you, man. So I guess Jimmy will talk about Julian Assange more during his live shows where he is less likely to be censored. And this is the kind of shit that really sucks because Jimmy Dore's got a huge platform. He's got over 600,000 subs. There were 11,500 people on his live stream yesterday just because it was about Joe Biden and he had Aaron Mate on. But Jimmy Dore is engaging in self-censorship. You're right, Anthony, you're right. When you're not mentioning it on your live stream, when you're not mentioning it on YouTube show, when you are going out of your way to discuss around Julian Assange, it shows how effective the campaign has been to silence the voices of independent media. And I'm over here with, if YouTube was not fucking me, I'd probably be around 1,500, 2,000 subscribers. I'm below 1,000 now. But I mean, if I had enough to be monetized, every single video I would do would be demonetized. Fortunately, I'm really not doing this for the fucking money. I'm grateful to the people that have supported me on Patreon. I've got cool stuff in the works for you for doing that. But the Patreon is to keep the show going, not to subsidize my life. I have a job. I'm good at my job. I will quit my job when it breaks me, but I'm still gonna go fucking work. William Martyr, a national strike is more effective than even a couple million people protesting. Protests are ignored. We should do a John and Yoko stay-at-home strike for the awareness of fascism. If I wasn't so goddamn worried that the 3/4 of the people who stayed at home for an at-home strike wouldn't be shopping on Amazon or watching Amazon Prime or Netflix or fucking any of that shit that still contributes to the machine, I would agree with you 100% there, William. I am a cynical bastard. To my detriment at times. Andrew Smith, my co-host on the Free Assange Vigils, one of my co-hosts, was talking last night about we need to reset technology. We need to go back a generation in technology so that almost an entire generation will either have to go without or go with the internet as we had it back in the day. And that's what it's going to take to eliminate the kinds of surveillance capitalism, targeting of activists, targeting of people who are putting out information that counters the narrative. I tend to agree with them on that a little bit. Street protesting sends the wrong message because it's disruptive. It has a carbon footprint. Plus, where has it gotten us so far? We all just stay home for a week, non-essential person. I understand what you're saying. I do. My cynicism leads me to believe that people would still be engaging in the exact same behaviors that they would be were there no protests going on. But this is where decentralized activism comes in, William. Decentralized activism is you and a couple of your friends that you trust, that will not be infiltrated, going out and performing an action together. You can do this in coordination with several other people or groups of people, small groups of people, and be effective. But I do agree that a shutdown, a work stoppage, a buy products stoppage, a cancellation of Amazon, a cancellation of Netflix, cancellation of those outlets that are designed to suck our time and energy and keep us from becoming activated. Those have to fucking go. Muscow, Bernie Sanders, and John Cusack came to Chicago on Tuesday to stand with Chicago teachers that are probably going to strike. Also, Chicago nurses went on strike, but that might have been for a day. Yeah, I'm glad Bernie Sanders supports striking workers. I'm glad Bernie Sanders is there to stand with people who want to collectively bargain for a better future and more opportunity for them and their family. I am. And I hope that they're effective. I hope that both of those strikes work. I do, 100%. Jimmy still doesn't get it about Tulsi. I agree. Can I still watch anime? My guilty pleasure? Of course. I'm still going to watch the Cubs. I'm still going to watch hockey. I just had somebody on the Free Assange vigil last night screaming about how we need to end professional sports. And I'm like, yeah, I agree, but hockey. So I guess that in that, like, I could give it up, and I gave up football without a problem. I never got into professional basketball because I grew up in Indiana, short and sucking at basketball. And if you grow up in Indiana, if you're a native Hoosier and you suck at basketball, you are shunned your entire life, because we're supposed to be the basketball state. They made a couple of fucking movies about it. I was bad. William Martyr, the question is, what representative or what celebrity will be the first one to promote a national week-long feast for the awareness of fascism where people stay the hell home with their families? I agree, and I am short on answers for that one, because every time it seems like we've got someone who gets it. Take, for example, Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo, Hollywood celebrity, played the Hulk, went to Standing Rock, as about as active as you can be for a Hollywood celebrity. Even he is like towing the neoliberal line on a lot of these. I think that out of all of this, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, Pam Anderson is somebody that we can try to leverage some support from. I don't know. What doesn't Jimmy get about Tulsi? So Tulsi is once again kind of hemming and hawing about Medicare for all. Tulsi, as a Council on Foreign Relations member who supports the drone program, worries me, because if you support the drone program, you are relying on the intelligence that is responsible for bringing about every drone strike. You're relying on the intelligence that is responsible for bringing around every military action. And that intelligence is predicated more often than not on absolute and total bullshit. So that worries me. That worries me about Tulsi. In my opinion, that's one of the things that Jimmy Dore doesn't get about Tulsi, and that's why I completely agree 100% with Susie Dawson, who has been making the same points as I just made and have made and will continue to make. It is, man, it's like a balm to me when people that I respect echo sentiments that I've been making throughout the years. And when I heard Susie Dawson on her live stream the other night say this exact thing, the intelligence responsible for every drone strike and every act of war is predicated more often than not on bullshit and lies. When I heard that, I felt I don't know, I guess vindicated. When I heard Ron Placone steal one of my jokes yesterday on a live stream, I felt incredibly vindicated about that too. Indiana wants you, don't go back. Bobby Knight will kick your butt. My job is to shed light, not the master. Robert Hunter, RIP. Yeah, man, rest in peace to Robert Hunter. I got a Robert Hunter story for you in the next couple of minutes. Indiana no longer wants me because I already did that time. No, do not vote for me for president. No, I don't want public office. The last thing I want is public office. So, there's a road in Mendocino County, California, just outside of Laytonville, right by the Black Rock Ranch, where the property that Wavy Gravy owns, where he's had Camp Winter Rainbow and the Cape Bush Festival and all kinds of pretty killer venues or all kinds of killer festivals over the year. Spy Rock Road at one point was a lot of the properties were owned by members of the Grateful Dead and their lyricists, including Robert Hunter and Bob Brelove. For a couple of years, once upon a time, I worked on the property that was owned by, adjacent to Robert Hunter's, that was owned by Bob Brelove. I worked for an old timer up there on a cannabis farm. This was a guy who started the California Hash Company. I got to watch him forge the stamp for bricks of hash that had the California Bear on it, the California Hash Company. That was pretty cool. I think I've talked about this a little bit before, how it's weird to reconcile the obvious fact that the Grateful Dead were part and parcel of a CIA psyop to render a revolutionary and active generation ineffective. Tulsi is calling out wars for profit, has been big money free since 2016 and doesn't repeat the most establishment propaganda, more progressive than Warren. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, Fred. That's not to say that she's not an island. She's you don't support the drone program and the intelligence that backs the drone program if you're truly anti-war. You can say you're against regime change wars, and that plays great. It sounds great. People on the right enjoy it. People on the left enjoy it. There are people that are tired of war that enjoy that sentiment. But what that sentiment means still to me is that I'm going to rely on the intelligence that is responsible for every single drone strike. And again, I'm anti-war, like don't fucking do it. Please don't go and destroy all these poor brown people for quarterly profits for the military industrial complex. Oh, I still love Grateful Dead music too, Dingo. I do. That's why it's hard to reconcile. I still love it. Just this morning, I dropped my older two kids off at the bus stop. I'm coming back up my road. K-Pig is on the radio. That's a radio station based out of freaking California. And Ship of Fools was on. And so I sat in my driveway and I listened to Ship of Fools, the studio version, all the fucking way through, because I haven't in a while. And then I was also struck by how timely the words to that song are. First verse, I won't slave for beggars' pay, likewise golden jewels, but I would slave to learn the way to sink your ship of fools. Yeah, yeah, fuck yeah. Great words. Rest in power, Robert Hunter. What if someone is attacking us? That is the only time I justify war, depending on the threat as well. So, the last time we got attacked, it was a false flag operation orchestrated by the Central Intelligence Agency, Mossad, and the FBI to strip whatever remaining civil liberties we had. And that was the last time we got attacked. Prior to that, the last time we got attacked on American soil was Pearl Harbor, which was something that FDR ignored and allowed to happen so that we could get into this war. If we're getting attacked, it's so we can invoke an emotional response in the American people in order to manufacture their consent for the next war. Bring back the draft of volunteer military mixed for a permanent war state. Yes and no. I think that if the United States reinstituted the draft, we would see a genuine anti-war protest movement spark back up, which is exactly why that's never going to happen. Tulsi's the only candidate to flat out say she'd pardon Manning, Snowden, and Assange. She's the only Democrat running for president who has said that. Ian Schlachman, Green Party candidate, Howie Hawkins, Green Party candidate, Adam Kokesh, Libertarian Party candidate, have all said day one, full pardons for Julian Assange, Chelsea Manning, and all other whistleblowers. And I agree. I agree with you, Fred. She has. My co-host from the Free Assange Vigil, Taylor Hudak, wrote an excellent article too, actually, that detailed what presidential candidates have said about Julian Assange and whistleblowers in general. And out of that, yes, you are 100% right. Tulsi Gabbard is the only Democrat running for president who has said she would pardon Julian Assange. I'm supporting Tulsi to get those things into the MSM. I agree with that. I do. I think if you can get away with saying Julian Assange's name out loud on camera in the mainstream media, that is more than we're going to get out of any other candidate. And good on her for that. Absolutely. However, me personally, and you don't have to think like I think. You don't have to do the same shit that I'm doing. I'm not. No, that's not how this works out. I tell you how I think and what I know and what I've understood, and then you do with that whatever you wish. But for me, I'm not going to go out of my way to support a duopoly candidate. I can't. She's the only one I've supported monetarily, except Gravel. We sent donations to Bernie, Tulsi, and Gravel. Once. Definitely wanted Tulsi to get on the debate stage. Wanted Gravel to get on the debate stage. So yeah, I mean, in that terms, my hypocrisy knows no bounds because I gave her money. I didn't give her much money, but I don't have much money. So, DNC is totally appeasing progressives right now. A few months now, only us will know about Tulsi, and the masses hamster minds will move on to whatever is current in the MSM news cycle. I agree with that. I do. Um, Guys, it's 9:58 here in California. I've said over and over and over that I'm not going to let this show run into Ron Placone's time, because I don't think it's fair to either of our audiences where there seems to be a lot of commonality and overlap. Um, uh, I will come back around noon and do an entire show on everything that I know about Timothy Leary and Zach Leary. And I have some shit to do over the next hour. That's right, Brooke. Thank you. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, I will be live on Blog Talk Radio with Brooke Hines. And we're going to be talking, I think, primarily about whatever we know about Julian Assange. I'm going to do a little pitch for my show. And we should have a lot of fun with that. So, Blog Talk Radio, Progressive News Network, hosted by Brooke Hines, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. This has been Slow News Day. I will see you in about an hour, and good luck to us all.